So this is the little painting that I've been working on for the step-by-steps of my second acrylic book. I've got it on a linen canvas and I've taped the edges. It's easier to scan if I don't stretch it or mount it first. So that's why I've done it this way. I'm at the stage now where I'm going to put the details in the halter rings and buckles. And I've switched to a little bit smaller brush. This is a HJ7 or 970 series brush, but any soft synthetic will do. This is a size 3. I've done most of this painting with a size 6. So I've mixed up a few colors that will go into the darkest areas. And I need to have enough contrast in here so that when I put my white in, it actually shows up. So I'll just start with a base layer in any of the darker areas. One of the keys to doing a good representation of metallic areas is to have a good photo that is taken with natural light. If you're using artificial light or a flash, you're going to have light bouncing around everywhere, and there really is no way that you can make something read as metallic if you've got many different light sources. So there will be areas that are whiter because a lot of the means of capturing metallic is to have strong contrast between light and dark, as opposed to an area that is subtly blending from light to dark. You will take big jumps from light to dark. If I do something wrong, like I misplaced a little bit here, I can wipe it off with a dampened Q-tip, or I can come back in with the black later, which is actually easier, but I will start by wiping it off. It's easiest to sort out if you kind of base coat the whole area. Now that I've base coated much of the areas, I will try to inject a little bit of color where there might be a bit of reflected light. We want it to look like a reflective surface, and a little color here and there can make a difference. There might be some light reflecting off her little face here, wherever the surfaces are turned towards her. There will be a little bit of light coming from the sky, so I'll put a few blues in here. I'm just using the same brush, rinsing it as I go. A little bluer here. And my next step is to go in with white. And it's not often in a painting that you will use pure white. But in this case, I want these light areas to stand out as much as possible. I can do subtle variations later if I want to. But for now, I'm just going to put in some pure white. I apologize if you're hearing some fan noise. It's minus 32 degrees Celsius here this morning. So my furnace is on, and that happens to be venting right where I paint. So these little touches of white let the viewer's eye know that light is reflecting brightly off a few areas here and there. They're just small touches, you don't want to overdo it. In most cases, if you've got a good photo, you can just follow the photo. And if anything, you're better to put fewer reflections than too many. Don't judge it too quickly because it might not read correctly until you're all done the reflections. As always, when you're painting, it's a good idea to step back and have a distant look. Paintings aren't usually viewed as close as we are doing them, so you really want them to look good from the distance that they would be viewed. So I will just finish with adding the reflections, working methodically around the painting, just putting in the reflected light wherever I see it. And then I'll go back in if there's any areas that need a little bit of subtly grading from one color to the other. I will do that. Usually doesn't need that in the reflected areas, but there might be areas where I can throw in just a little bit more reflected light and color. Getting very close to finished. So I will just do a little bit of refining, and then the foal and the halter are basically done, just the background left to do on the painting.